If the reason you feel stuck is because you're trying too hard to control everything? What if the answers you're chasing are already waiting for you, just not in the way you expect? And what if letting go is actually the moment your life begins to move forward? There comes a point in life where forcing things stops working. You push, you plan, you overthink, and still nothing feels right. That's where real growth begins, not in control, but in surrender. Stoicism teaches us something powerful. Focus on what you can control and trust the rest to a higher wisdom. When you stop forcing outcomes and start trusting the process, life begins to flow in ways you never imagined. This is not weakness, this is strength in its purest form. Most of your stress is not created by what is happening, it is created by your attempt to control what is not happening the way you want. You try to manage outcomes before they unfold. You replay conversations in your mind, hoping to change what people think, and you hold on to expectations about how life should go. But reality doesn't move according to your plans. People think what they want. Timing unfolds on its own, and unexpected situations are part of the journey. The more you resist this, the more pressure you create inside yourself. Your mind becomes a battlefield of what if and why not, constantly trying to fix things that were never yours to fix. And that's where exhaustion comes from. Not from doing too much, but from mentally fighting what you cannot change. When you truly accept what is outside your control, something powerful happens. You stop wasting energy. Instead of chasing certainty, you start building stability within yourself. You focus on your actions, your mindset, and how you respond to situations. You realize that while you can't control outcomes, you can control your preparation. You can't control others, but you can control your boundaries. You can't control timing, but you can stay consistent. This shift gives you clarity because your attention is no longer scattered across things you can't influence. It becomes focused, intentional, and productive. You stop reacting emotionally to everything around you and start moving with calm awareness. Letting go is not giving up, it's gaining control in the right areas. It's choosing peace over pressure, clarity over confusion. When you stop forcing life to fit your expectations, you become more adaptable, more resilient. You handle challenges better because you're not resisting reality, you're working with it. And in that space, your mind becomes lighter. Decisions become easier. Your focus becomes sharper. The chaos that once filled your thoughts starts to fade, replaced by a quiet confidence. You understand that not everything needs to be controlled for you to move forward. Sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is release what you can't hold and put all your energy into what truly matters. Not everything is meant to happen on your timeline, no matter how badly you want it. Delays often feel frustrating because they don't match your expectations, but not every delay is a denial. Sometimes it's protection. There are moments when you're not ready, when the situation isn't right, or when something better is being aligned without you seeing it yet. The same goes for rejection. What feels like a setback in the moment can actually be a redirection towards something more suited for you. But when you try to force things, force outcomes, force timing, force people, you create pressure that only leads to stress and disappointment. You start chasing instead of allowing, controlling instead of trusting. The moment you shift into trust, your entire mindset changes. You stop seeing life as something working against you and start seeing it as something working for you, even when it doesn't make sense immediately. Patience becomes easier because you understand that growth, opportunities, and results all follow their own pace. You focus more on preparing yourself than rushing the outcome. And in that space, anxiety begins to fade. You're no longer constantly worried about when or how. You're grounded in what you can do right now. Trusting the timing doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing your part without forcing the result. You continue to grow, improve, and stay consistent while allowing life to unfold naturally. And over time, you start noticing something powerful. The right things come together in ways you couldn't have planned. The right opportunities appear, the right people align, and the right moments happen when you're truly ready. That's when you realize what is meant for you doesn't need to be chased or forced. It arrives with clarity, with ease, and in a way that feels right. Stoicism teaches a simple but powerful truth. Your effort is yours, but the outcome is not. You can plan, work hard, stay disciplined, and give everything you have, but external factors will always play a role in the final result. When you tie your happiness to outcomes, you place your peace in something unstable. A result can change, be delayed, or not come at all, and when that happens, frustration and disappointment take over. But when your focus shifts to effort, what you control, you regain stability. You measure your day not by what you received, but how well you showed up. And that creates a sense of fulfillment that no external result can take away. This mindset changes how you experience both success and failure. You stop fearing failure because your worth is no longer defined by the result. You stop chasing success desperately because you're already satisfied with your effort. Every day becomes meaningful because you are committed to doing your best regardless of the outcome. And, ironically, this is what often leads to better results. When pressure is removed, your focus sharpens. When anxiety fades, your performance sharpens. Success stops feeling like a burden you have to carry and becomes something that naturally follows your consistency. Because in the end, peace doesn't come from controlling results, it comes from mastering your effort. The world is loud, and it constantly tries to tell you who to be, what to do, and how to live. Opinions come from every direction: friends, family, social media, society, and most of it sounds convincing. But not all advice is aligned with your path. When you keep absorbing everyone else's expectations, your own voice starts to fade. You begin to second-guess your decisions, doubt your instincts, and move in directions that don't truly feel right. It's not because you lack clarity, it's because your mind is overcrowded with noise that doesn't belong to you. Stepping back into silence changes everything. When you create distance from constant input, you give yourself space to think clearly. Reflection replaces reaction. You start understanding what you actually want, not what others expect from you. Your inner voice becomes stronger, more defined, more trustworthy. And that voice is different. It's not rushed, it's clear, not confusing. It doesn't pressure you, it guides you. The more you listen to it, the more confident you become in your direction. Because real guidance doesn't come from the outside world constantly speaking. It comes from within, when everything else finally goes quiet. Life will never give you full certainty, no matter how much you plan or prepare. And that's not a flaw, it's how growth works. The unknown feels uncomfortable because your mind wants control, it wants guarantees, it wants to know what's coming next. But real progress begins exactly where certainty ends. When you don't know what's ahead, you're forced to adapt, to think, to become stronger. Every step you take without clarity builds resilience. It teaches you how to move forward without perfect conditions, how to act without waiting for reassurance. And that's where real confidence is formed, not in comfort, but in uncertainty. When you stop fearing the unknown and start accepting it, something shifts inside you. You no longer see uncertainty as danger, you see it as opportunity. You realize that you don't need to have everything figured out to keep going. What matters is your ability to handle whatever comes next. And with every challenge you face, that belief grows stronger. You begin to trust yourself more than the situation. You understand that no matter what happens, good or bad, you have the strength to deal with it. And that kind of confidence is powerful because it's not built on predictable outcomes, but on your ability to face the unpredictable without breaking.
You cannot control how people act, what they think, or how they feel, no matter how much you care or how hard you try. The moment you start trying to manage others, you begin losing yourself. You overthink their actions, analyze their words, and adjust your behavior just to keep things stable. But that effort is exhausting because you're investing energy into something that was never fully in your control. People will be who they are, regardless of how much you try to change or understand them. And accepting this truth is not weakness, it's freedom. It allows you to stop chasing control and start protecting your peace. When you shift your focus back to yourself, everything becomes clearer. You invest your time in your growth, your mindset, your direction. You stop forcing connections that don't feel right and stop holding on to people who no longer align with your path. And naturally, things begin to balance out. The right people, those who respect you, understand you, and grow with you, will stay without pressure. The wrong ones will slowly fade without conflict or force. And that's okay. Not everyone is meant to be part of your journey forever. Some people are lessons, some are phases, and a few are meant to stay. The key is to let life filter them naturally while you stay focused on becoming the best version of yourself. Patience is often misunderstood as waiting without action, but in reality, it is controlled strength. It is the ability to stay steady when your mind is pushing you to rush, react, or force outcomes. In moments of pressure, most people act impulsively. They make quick decisions just to escape discomfort. But patience allows you to pause, think clearly, and respond with intention instead of emotion. That pause is powerful. It protects you from mistakes that come from haste, from words spoken too quickly, and from decisions made without clarity. It gives you control over yourself, even when situations feel uncertain. Over time, patience builds a mindset that is calm, focused, and resilient. You stop chasing immediate results and start trusting the process. You understand that not everything needs to happen instantly to be meaningful. This makes your actions more precise and your direction more stable. You don't get easily shaken by delays or setbacks because you know they are part of the journey, not the end of it. And in that calm, you gain an advantage. While others are reacting, you are thinking. While others are rushing, you are moving with purpose. That's what makes patience powerful. It's not about doing nothing. It's about doing the right thing at the right time with a clear mind. Every setback is more than just a moment of difficulty. It's feedback. But most people miss that because they're too focused on fixing the outcome instead of understanding the lesson. When something doesn't go your way, the natural reaction is frustration, resistance, and the urge to force things back into place. But forcing only blinds you. It keeps you stuck in the same patterns, repeating the same mistakes because you never pause long enough to see what went wrong. The question, "Why is this happening to me?" keeps you in a victim mindset. It makes the situation feel unfair instead of useful. The moment you shift to, "What is this trying to teach me?" everything changes. You move from resistance to awareness. You start analyzing instead of reacting. Every failure begins to reveal something, maybe a gap in your skill, a flaw in your approach, or a mindset that needs to change. And once you see that, you can improve. Obstacles stop feeling like blocks and start becoming guides. They show you exactly where you need to grow. Over time, this mindset makes you stronger, sharper, and more adaptable. Because instead of being stopped by setbacks, you learn from them. And that's what turns temporary failure into long-term progress. Fear thrives in the unknown. It grows when you try to predict every outcome, control every situation, and guard against every possibility. Your mind fills with what-ifs and worst-case scenarios, and suddenly even small challenges feel overwhelming. But fear loses its grip the moment you shift from doubt to trust. When you have faith that there is a greater plan at work, whether you call it destiny, God, or simply the flow of life, you stop fighting what you cannot control. You stop exhausting yourself on possibilities that may never happen. Trust transforms the way you live. You begin to act with clarity instead of hesitation, make decisions without paralyzing over analysis, and face challenges without being consumed by worry. You accept that outcomes are not fully yours to control, but your effort, attitude, and choices are. That acceptance brings a calm confidence, a quiet strength that isn't shaken by uncertainty.
Life still presents obstacles, but you meet them with steadiness instead of panic. And in that space, you realize something profound. When fear no longer dictates your actions, you are free to focus on what truly matters, and everything else unfolds as it should. Life often feels like a river, constantly moving, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent. When you struggle against it, trying to control every twist and turn, you drain your energy and create frustration. You fight currents you cannot change, pushing yourself towards outcomes that may never arrive. That struggle is exhausting because resistance never stops the flow, it only slows you down. The more you force, the more tired you become, and the less progress you make. Flowing with life doesn't mean being passive or doing nothing. It means aligning your actions with the natural rhythm of events. It means taking deliberate steps without desperation, trusting that your effort combined with patience will carry you forward. You focus on what you can control, your mindset, your decisions, your work, while letting go of what you cannot. And when you act from that place of calm, life begins to cooperate rather than oppose you. Doors open, opportunities arrive, and progress happens more smoothly. By releasing the need to force outcomes, you transform struggle into momentum, and movement becomes effortless, guided by both effort and trust in the journey. Are you truly trusting your journey, or are you still trying to control every step of it? Peace begins the moment you stop forcing life and start trusting where it is taking you. If you found this valuable, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and follow for more content like this. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section.